You're welcome to NSA 205 Developmental Psychology. This is Study Section 3, Adolescent Development. In Study Section 2, you have been introduced to the physical, cognitive, and psychosocial developmental changes which human beings pass through on their journey from conception through childhood. However, in this current study section, you should be able to use the knowledge you have gained in the previous study section to look at the developmental changes that occur during the period of adolescence. When you will have studied this study section 3, you should be able to explain the concept of puberty and adolescence. You should be able to discuss the implication of adolescent developmental phase for nursing practice. You should be able to describe the physiological changes that occur in adolescence. You should be able to describe the application of Jean Piaget's cognitive developmental theory in adolescent thinking. And lastly, you should be able to highlight some of the problems during adolescent development. Concept of puberty and adolescence. Most adults tend to confuse the term adolescent and puberty and use them synonymously. However, puberty refers to the physiological changes involved in the sexual maturation of a child, as well as other body changes that may occur during this period of time. Adolescence refers to the stage from puberty to adulthood and includes the psychological experiences of the child during this period of time. Adolescence is described as being the teenage years from 13 to 18 years of age. Some may be more than that, 19 years of age. However, puberty decides the beginning of adolescence. Thus, adolescence occur in some children as early as 9 years of age. During this period of time, the child has a great deal of concern over his or her body image, and any discrepancies in this child's eyes, such as obesity, early or late maturation, etc., may be manifested through a variety of disorders. During this adolescence period, there is a large degree of psychosocial growth as children make adjustments to life. However, this stages does not just go like that without any form of challenges from one level to another. Sexual development, which are characteristics of this period of life, can equally come in. Adolescent faces ongoing conflict and difficult adapting to the sudden upsurge of this sexual development and aggressive drives. These changes cause unrest and confusion in the adolescents' inner selves and in the way they perceive the world. Then let's see the stages of puberty. There are 3 stages of puberty, and they are pre-pubescent stage, we have the pubescent stage, and the post-pubescent stage. When you get to the study manual, you can read more about this. Implication of adolescent developmental phase to nursing practice. The implication of development during this period for nursing practice are numerous. Nurses must be aware of the shift in cognitive development that are occurring at this age and provide appropriate learning opportunities to support individual clients and facilitate growth. Nurses must also be aware of the challenges facing their clients in order to identify and help to correct problems if they arise. Nurses often play an important role in identifying behaviors that could become problematic, and they can be mentored to lead a healthy lifestyle. Physiological changes that occur in adolescence. The physical development begins in most adolescents from ages 12 to 18 years. It is characterized by dramatic changes happening to the individual from childhood to physical maturity. Physical development in adolescence includes a growth spurt as the body fills out, voice changes, especially in males, and an increase in sex hormones in both sex. Secondary sex characteristics such as breast changes in females may be seen, and beards in males could appear. Girls' first menstruation, that is menarche, usually occur between the ages of 11 and 14 years old. Other physical changes in adolescence are as contained in the course manual. Try to go through it. Perspective in adolescent thinking. The two perspectives on adolescent thinking are constructivist and information processing. The constructivist perspective, based on the work of Piaget, takes a quantitative state theory approach. This view hypothesizes that adolescent cognitive improvement is relatively sudden and drastic. The information processing perspective derives from the study of artificial intelligence and attempts to explain cognitive development in terms of the growth of specific components of the overall process of thinking. Improvement in basic thinking ability occur in 5 areas during adolescence, and these are attention, that is, improvements are seen in a selective attention, which means the process by which one focuses on one stimulus while turning out another, as well as divided attention, that is, the ability to pay attention to 2 or more stimuli at the same time. Then we have memory, which means improvements are seen in both working memory and long-term memory. Then we have processing speed. Adolescents think more quickly than children. Processing speed improves sharply between age 5 and middle adolescence, level of around age 15, and does not appear to change between the adolescent and adulthood. Organization. Adolescents are more aware of their own thought processes and can use mnemonic devices and other strategies to think more effectively. Let's go to Piaget's formal operational stages of cognitive development. Jean Piaget dedicated most of his life's work to understanding how children develop intellectually. His work on cognitive development is the most complete theory available today and is widely used. According to Piagetian theory, children progress through 4 stages in their cognitive development, as you can see in the slide, which are sensory motor, that is birth to 2 years of age, pre-operational, that is 2 to 6 years of age. Then we have concrete operational from 7 to 12 years of age, and lastly the formal operational stage, which is 12 years to adulthood. Each of these stages, as shown in the slide, represents a quantitative leap forward in the child's ability to solve problems and reason logically. As children enter adolescence, their cognitive abilities lie somewhere between Piaget's third stage of cognitive development, the period of concrete operational, and the fourth or last formal operational stage. We have problems during adolescence. Some of the problems during the adolescence will be discussed in this part of the discussion. We have substance abuse. This is a major health threat. Legal and illegal substances available to adolescents includes tobacco, caffeine, alcohol, glue, paint, favor, and pills. The spread of acquired immune deficiency syndrome, HIV/AIDS infection, by use of dirty needles increases the seriousness of this health threat because of the substance abuse they have been exposed to. Number two, we have eating disorders. These have increased drastically among adolescents, particularly females, anorexia nervosa, with a voluntary weight loss of about 25% of body weight. The extreme thinness may lead to other health problems such as cessation of menstruation. Then we have bulimia as another eating disorder that characterized by binges, purges with laxatives, and self-induced vomiting can occur as a result of this bulimia. Some people have alternating patterns of the two problems. That is, they can switch from the anorexia nervosa, or they may have bulimia and they may have the two almost at the same time. A prolonged period of either eating disorder can result in serious health problems, suicide and attempted suicide. That's number 3. These have increased among adolescents at alarming rates in recent decades. Research findings suggest that the suicidal adolescent has usually had since childhood a history of stress and personal problems. Attempts to resolve the problems, including running away from home and increasing social isolation, may precipitate an attempted suicide. Early professional help is often needed to prevent withdrawal and acting out of the problems. Thanks for listening. See you in the next class.